It blew up a little bit. It was just kind of people in my circle just saying, um, you know, how happy they are for me. But I feel like just kind of usual for me. I just got to keep being consistent. So it was a big game, but we got to focus on tomorrow. So.
Jamari, when someone as young as Malachi has a game like you have, you've seen guys in your career that have gone off on big nights. What have you seen as being the key to doing things consistently in the Big Ten?
Just putting in the work before the game. Like he always a guy that's gonna get up in the morning and get shots in. So we wasn't surprised that he was gonna have a breakout game like that. It's just a matter of time. And just like he said, just keep putting that work in. That hard work gonna pay off at the end of the day.
Malachi, how do you carry that momentum forward now, and take the next step in becoming, maybe more of a go-to scorer for the team?
Yeah, like I said, just keep being consistent. Keep showing that I can score the ball at a high level each and every night that we play. But not try to force it. Just play my game, and that's pretty much it.
Did you surprise yourself at all during that game, or was it kind of like I was expecting to do this?
Yeah, I didn't surprise myself at all. Like I know what I can do, so it was just good headshots.
Hey, Malachi, going back to your high school days and first year here in college, has most of your offense kind of come through the flow of the offense? Have you been able to kind of create your own shot and create your own offense? Or, I mean, how would you describe how it's gone over your
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of been both. Kind of the flow of the offense. I get my shots in, like I did against Nebraska, and then I can also like if we were just in like what is it, 4-on-1 in kind of situation. I feel like we just kind of get to the rim and kind of just play off each other. So I feel like I can get my shots off like that too. So.
Jamari, to see Malachi play the way he did on Sunday, you've been in the league long enough to see young guys develop. Just where does Malachi kind of stack up with the way he approaches the game of basketball, his preparation, and things like that?
I say he approach it like a pro. Like I say every day, he in there working, and like it all starts before the game. Like what you put in during practice, after practice, before practice, stuff like that. So just keep doing that. Just keep building up. Just keep your confidence high, and you're gonna have plenty of nights like that.
And then for Malachi, just where does that all come from? Your love for the game of basketball, your dedication to preparation, just where does that all kind of come from in your basketball history?
Yeah, like just the love of the game for real. I've been playing it basically my whole life, so it's just fun playing. I love basketball.
You were both on from three. How much does that motivate you to see the other guy doing well, and you want to do well from behind the arc as well?
It was good actually. Seeing him, he had two big threes in overtime, so I was extremely happy for him because he can definitely shoot the ball, but sometimes he don't want to shoot it. So it was definitely good seeing him being confident in shooting the ball.
Same question for you, Jamari. Seeing him make five in the first half, what does that do for you and for the team to motivate everyone else to want to take shots and get them up?
Yeah, it get us going and stuff like that. Especially for me, I'm trying to find him so I get my assists because I know he's gonna knock it down. So I love when I see our players knock down shots. I'm gonna look for him even more.
One of the things that Coach Holtmann talked about after the game was you guys did turn the ball over a lot against Nebraska, and I know that's kind of been an issue on and off throughout the season. What are you guys seeing common threads in some of these games, or what do you think? Why do you think that's still an issue at this point in the season?
Just gotta be smarter with it and tougher with the ball. A lot of turnovers come from like unforced errors, like just getting there too deep in the paint, people digging on our balls. So just be tough with it like that, knowing they coming for it. So just be aware where the other defenders at, things like that.
Is that stuff that in the middle of the season is that easy to clean up?
Yeah, absolutely. Cause like I said, they all on us. It's not like other teams making us turn the ball over. Like we turn the ball over ourselves. So once we clean that up, it's just gonna go even a next level.
How does Coach Holtmann talk about those kinds of turnovers in a film session?
Just show us a lot, talk to us about it, and just we like really break it down before we enter the game, so we know like okay they're gonna dig on the ball, so we know be tough when you get in there, they're coming for your ball, so things like that, just talking to us and showing us before. Now it's just us, we just gotta be stronger with it.
Malachi, what's the challenge of trying to carry that over into games?
You talking about turnovers?
Yeah, like trying to carry over the things that you're going over in film.
Yeah.
And trying to actually cut down on the turnovers.
I feel like it's just really in practice. Like we got to kind of focus on in practice, and then I feel like if we keep doing it in practice, it's definitely going to go over into the game. So just got to keep being consistent on not turning the ball over and kind of just making the right and simple play.
If you have a bad turnover in practice, is there a punishment?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
the 11s.
Yeah, 11. Sometimes it
Yeah.
just kind of just depends,
Yeah.
but yeah.
We go live, we'll play games, and whoever have turnovers, we have to run 11 seconds, which is half
Oh,
court
yeah.
and back then full court. So it's kind of a little punishment. Definitely focus on that area a lot.
Malachi, how has having to deal with Jamari in practice helped you when real games come along? Because, you know, he's kind of established himself over the years as one of the better defenders in the Big Ten. So when the games start, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, man, I don't have to deal with him now. This is almost easier.
Yeah, I'll probably say that because, he's one of the best defenders in the league, like you said. He definitely pushes me in practice. Definitely got to keep the ball tighter, and, when I dribble, make sure, he can't get it. So it's definitely been good for me.
Do you think that carries over in the game then because you're not dealing with him anymore? So you think that's helping you offensively?
Oh, yeah, but, me and him go back and forth in practice, too. So, it's competitive. So.
Jamari, obviously playing at Penn State, you would have been at Indiana once or twice at least in your career. Just what can you tell him about what he's in for tomorrow? It's one of the great arenas in the country.
Right, yeah. One of the loudest in the Big Ten. I tell them, like, especially how they jump build, it get very, very loud. So just make sure we go there, stay poised, and just do us. Like, don't go overdoing anything. Just take care of the details that we got to take care of. And we like the income at the end of the game. But I definitely told him that's one of the loudest places we're going to play in the Big Ten for sure.
Were you guys ever able to pull one off over there? Or?
Yeah, we did, actually. We had all our games was close over there. Yeah.
What do you see with them? Have you had a chance to scout them yet or watch them on TV or look at film? Or what do you see out of Indiana?
Yeah, we've been scouting them since just then practice. Just it's another Big Ten team. They're gonna play hard the whole game. So just come out there, try to set the rules from the jump ball and things like that, and just rebound the ball. They got some good bigs that crash the boards. So and that's one thing we're struggling on during the season. Also is rebounding. So that's something we're going into the game focusing on.
Malcolm, anything you noticed with Indiana just from what you've seen? It looks like they've got two really good bigs.
Yeah.
You guys got two really good bigs, and then everybody kind of fills in around them. What
Yeah, like he said, it's a Big Ten game, so it's gonna be physical, especially on the rebound. So, everybody got to rebound. It's not just the bigs. Definitely for me, I got to go in there a little bit more, as coach would say. So, yeah, it's gonna be a physical game, but it's gonna be fun too.
They're like one of the best teams in the country at 2-point field goal percentage defense. So what do they do that makes it hard to score inside the 3-point line?
Just play physical, not try to let our bigs get to the spots, not let us come on ball screens like we want to and things like that. So just execute our game plan as we're going into the things like that and bring a road attitude.
Does that put any extra pressure on maybe guys like yourselves, like to create from the perimeter and do things like that to try to open things up down low?
Yeah, I would say yeah, and especially for me, like a point guard. So my job is to get everyone good shots, open shots, and get them to their spots and things like that. So just come out there and be physical and execute our game plan. Once we execute, we feel like no one could stop us in the country. So just go out there and do that.
Jamari, for you, you're 11 games in here to your time at Ohio State. Has this been so far what you thought it would be?
Yeah, absolutely. Other than the games that got canceled, everything else, yes, sir. I'm glad I made the decision to come here.
And what makes you say that?
Just starting from just the love, the locker room, the coaches, things like that. Then also just the basketball, like we're playing at a high level every night, things like that. Just playing with my teammates, being on the court with them, me expanding my game, getting better, and things like that. So it's been everything I wanted and I wished for. Now we just gotta go finish, go get us some championships.
I'll ask one more. Jamari, the game the other night, Cedric, Russell, Jimmy Sotos, Michi, it seemed like everybody had a hand in you guys winning the game. At some point, came in and made a good play. Just how big is that for everybody on the roster to get in the game and have a hand in winning the game? Everybody had to be really happy coming home.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That would make us so good. We got so many weapons, and we deep. Like anybody could come off the bench and have a great night at any type of any game. So I feel like that just make us more dangerous on the court. Like you gonna have to worry about everybody, even the bench players. So we love to see that happen and things like that. Their hard work paying off also.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
All right, what's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Obviously, preparing for a really good Indiana team, a group that is physical. I think Race and Trace are as good a front line as there is in college basketball, and I think they're a really talented group that's well coached by Mike and his staff, and obviously they're coming off a road league loss. They're undefeated at home, and I think we understand how challenging it is to play there in Assembly Hall. So it's a great environment, and one that obviously our guys need to be ready to play in.
Can you give us updates on like Kyle and Justice and Seth, just how those guys are all doing?
Yeah, so Justice and Seth will not play. They continue to be evaluated and go through their progression. They are getting better, making progress. Kyle's feeling better. We'll see. We'll evaluate him after practice today here and make a determination at that point.
It's pretty obvious, but how important when you talk about their front line, it seems like a game that Kyle would be especially important for you. How big is his status as far as this game goes?
Yeah, it's always big. As you guys know who've watched us play, his status is always big for us, and his play is really important for us. I think we've seen that in so many games, particularly when you go on the road. You have a veteran guy. We saw that at Penn State, how critical he was coming off the bench for us there. So he's really important. They have other guys outside on the front line outside of those two guys. I just think those two guys are really good players, and really, obviously a lot's made of Trace for good reason. He's a preseason All-American for good reason, but Race is developed into a really good player. We knew he was a good player coming out of high school, and he's a really talented kid.
Where has Trace improved most in the last 3 years of playing against him?
Trace?
Yeah.
I just think he's like any kid. He's kind of grown into adding to his game. He's really difficult on both blocks, but he's tremendous getting to his left hand, and he's a tremendous athlete at his size. He's got 40 blocks on the year. So his ability to impact the game on both ends is pretty significant. He's a weapon on both ends, and the kid was, he's a five-star coming in. He's going into his third year. That's kind of what you'd expect from someone as talented as he has been.
And then Coach Malachi, obviously, with that huge game the other night. Did any part of that surprise you at all, or did you see in him the potential to have a game like that this early on in his freshman year?
No, I don't think you ever anticipate a game of that number. 35 points is, it's unprecedented, really. So by a freshman, but much it's unprecedented by anybody. I just think honestly he took advantage of some openings in the way that they were collapsing and playing defensively. He had great shot prep and readiness to attack offensively. That got him in a rhythm, and then he was able to get to his spots in the last 20 minutes. But no, I think for people to somehow expect that this is, going to be a regular occurrence is they have not watched college basketball enough. The young man had a tremendous game, but he's going to have other moments where he struggles, just like every other college kid, much less freshman. But he certainly provided a great lift for us. And the interesting thing about that game is so much of that came within the flow of the offense. And he stayed aggressive, but didn't really force much. And again, he took advantage of how they were collapsing, but give him credit. He had great aggressiveness.
Chris, I think building off that, how much of his performance was deservedly so? His work ethic, his preparation. How much of that had he earned to that point, Malachi?
Yeah, I think he's earned the right to play well, but that's been the case all year. And he came off a 4-turnover performance and didn't score against Wisconsin, but it didn't deter that young man. He just kept working, and I think he's he's got an understanding. It's harder when you go through it, but he's got an understanding of the ebbs and flows of a young player in college, and how you can just, you can struggle. You can look great one night, and then the other night the defense is maybe giving you a little more attention, or it's just not your night, or you're struggling. But he understands he's a talented young man that has to keep at the forefront, just staying coachable, staying hungry, and continuing to get better.
Chris, it seems on the outside looking in that Malachi doesn't have much of an ego. Maybe a rare thing these days. I don't know if that's because, you've got like that line of delineation. If you're a top 10 recruit in the country,
Yeah.
everybody's talking about you. Like
Yeah.
two dudes that went to Memphis, the
Yeah.
second they struggle, everybody's asking, what's wrong with them? But
Right.
Malachi just seems like he's taking everything in stride. And I don't know, maybe that's the team he's on. You've got an E.J. Liddell that can, be the leader of the group. I don't know what you see there.
Yeah, no, he's got a maturity to him, and I think that's, Tim, I think that's really what makes a guy able to grow in his career as a young player, is he's got the maturity to understand that, I think he's got a maturity and a quiet confidence to him. And I think you have to be a confident, in some cases borderline arrogant player to be a really good player at this level. And but he's also understands and has appreciation for how hard this is. I think he's growing in that, understanding how hard it is. And I think, he also recognizes probably that, some of the opportunities he got was because of the attention that his teammates were giving him, or his teammates were given by Nebraska's defense. So, I've been really pleased with just overall his maturity. And again, he's had other really good moments this season. Had a great moment late in our first game. He's had some really good moments, and I think he'll continue to have that because of who he is as a kid.
Just one more about the way the game went over the weekend. I feel like, you know this, you're going to get a bucket of games that will go like that. The fan base might say 6 and 7, what's going on here? But
Yeah.
you know how that goes. Do you almost cherish a win like that where you survive and grind it out more than when you knock somebody or wipe somebody by 18 or 20 points?
Yeah, you'd always like to be able to do the other one, to be honest with you, where you can pull away and have some, maybe feel good about how you imposed yourself on the game as a team. But you're not going to do that every night. And I think the challenge for us is we've got to take the lessons that we learned from that game and figure out what we did, and also pay respect to Nebraska for what they were able to do to put us in difficult spots. What are the correctable things we can do better? Own that and move forward. And yet at the same time, to your point, embrace the fact that, you don't always win a game when you're down 5 with 33 seconds to go. So to be able to do that is a credit to our guys making plays.
Chris, any particular take on this new policy with no concessions? I'm sure you're aware of it. Is that a COVID issue? Is that a staffing issue?
No, I believe it's a COVID protocol issue that the university's put in place, Clay. Obviously, that's a decision that the university's made, and we'll support. I'm hoping that sooner rather than later, the numbers can go down, and we can get back to a normal type of environment at home.
What's it been like for you to see things kind of change the way that they were last year in 2020 and maybe revert back to where things were in that sense?
What was the first part of your question? I'm sorry.
What is it like for you to see things kind of revert back to where they were this time last year and now it's happening again? And how did the players handle that as well?
Yeah, if you're reading the tea leaves a little bit, you kind of got the sense that maybe some of this was coming, some types of more kind of policies were going to be coming. I think in some ways it can be a frustrating thing, and yet at the same time, I think you just hope that the numbers continue to go down, and we're able to get back to a regular environment at home. But obviously, I know our university officials, our medical staff are looking and making sure that safety's at a premium.
You talked a moment ago about what are the correct tools we need to do better. And when we talked after the game, you mentioned turnovers, and not sure how much of that was fatigue induced and how much of that, as you've reviewed the film from that game, what were your takeaways on the issues of taking care of the ball?
I think it was honestly it was more on us. I think there were some fatigue related things, Adam, in terms of just our maybe our shooting at times and our ability to play with pace defensively. But I think that was just on us. We just have to be better in that area.
Is that getting frustrating at all? I mean, when you are as good offensively as you
Yeah.
have proven yourselves to be, if you get a shot, it's probably going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think I've accepted the fact that we're not going to have the same turnover percentage that we had last year. We had older guys that have been in our program for 2, 3, 4 years. And we had guys that were experienced in what we were doing. And we really, we also played a little bit smaller across the board. Now you have just more guys handling the ball. You have new players handling the ball, and their turnovers and assist-to-turnovers ratio has to get better. Jamari, it's uncharacteristically had 5 the other day, but he's been pretty solid with it. You have EJ's whose turnover numbers have been higher. His assist numbers have always also been high too, but he's handling the ball. So I just don't think we're going to have the numbers that we had last year, where I think we were top 20 or top 15 in the country in turnover rate. I just don't think it's going to get there, but it can get better. It needs to get better.
Coach, how are you preparing your team to play in Assembly Hall tomorrow? You've got a handful of younger guys who have
Yeah.
never played in Assembly Hall with a full crowd.
Yeah.
So how are you kind of prepping them for that environment?
Yeah, we'll make them aware of it, and we'll do some things that we typically do in practice that, I'll kind of keep between us, just to try to make our guys focus and concentrate on the moment and stay locked in on what they need to do, given what the surroundings are going to be like. All of you guys that have been there know it's a great environment, one of the best in college basketball typically, and we're going against a team that's going to be incredibly hungry. Again, I think I went into the season saying, hey, this is a team that certainly it can be a top 25 team. I believe they're that good. So I think for us, we need to have an understanding of what we're going into, and so do our players, and particularly our young guys. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. Sorry. I'm having a hard time actually picking up your voices with the mask there.
You had talked about a little bit before Sunday night about learning a little bit about, on the other side of this COVID break, how you guys would be. But also, was there an element of just almost making sure you got through that game because you hadn't played in 22 days and there were so many circumstances? It's a Big Ten road game.
Yeah.
How do you feel now on the other side of it, just kind of making your way through it?
Good. I don't think we're through some of it yet, but again, you want to try not to use that as an excuse for things we need to do better at the same time, things we need to coach and play better. But yeah, I really wanted to, you said get through it. I just wanted that game to get in. I wanted to play that game because I felt like that was going to be so important for us. Obviously, you wanted to win it, but I want our guys to get back to playing because they need that. They want that for one, but we also need that as a group. So that was my biggest thing is let's just get to 8 o'clock on Sunday night and hopefully, play well. And I think, again, we took some real lessons from that. And we need to, we need to grow. We need to grow. We need to continue to get better as a group. But getting that game in was important.
How much do you kind of balance as a coaching staff, taking things and lessons from that game, but also not building it as an excuse, but when you're watching the film, just understanding that, here's a play where we haven't played in 22 days, it shows this set, this possession, this defensive stop, those kind of things. How do you balance that?
Yeah.
Make sure your guys try to balance it too.
We've really tried to look at it and see some of the things maybe that were uncharacteristic of us or inconsistent with how we had been playing. And, with the turnovers, I think that's on us. We have to do a better job of that. But there were some things maybe that were a little bit inconsistent that were more fatigue related or just a little bit rust related. You know, I've talked to one of you guys in here, and you mentioned kind of a study where it takes a couple games. We'll see. I think practice time is great, and we needed that, and we still need that. But you can't duplicate the timing of game reps.
We've got time for one more. Steve, go ahead. Your teams are kind of mirror images. You both have the 4 and the 5
Yeah.
have been pretty solid, and then
Yeah.
some other guys around them who have really mixed in pretty good. What do you, and you talked a little bit about the 2 big guys, just in general, what do you see from them? They've been in every game they've played, it looks like.
Yeah.
Probably play 5 or 10 points better at home than they do on the road.
They really do. They're really good at home. As I don't know what, you know, if there's been an Indiana team that's not been really good at home, right? You know, it kind of goes without saying. They're really good at home, and I think they're the energy they get from the crowd is tremendous, and you know, it's a great college environment. But I think, to your point, there are some similarities. They have some older guards that they brought in that are transfers. They also are implementing some young guys to their program that have been important. Bates has been an important player for them, and they have a front line that, again, I think our front line, when we're fully healthy, is really good, and I think their front line is really good as well. So there are some similarities for sure in both teams. You know, I think the thing that I've been, you know, really impressed with them is this is the best defense we've played against. And when you look at their numbers right now, that is, the numbers back that up. It's the best defense we've played against.